Hey, I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I'm here on my balcony at the fabulous National Hotel on Miami Beach. And when I started this channel, I wanted to make videos to help people enjoy their vacations. It started with Disney, and then it went on to theme parks and cruising and hotels and restaurants and things like that. And over the past the past year or so, I kind of, the videos have become very entertaining, and I feel like I've forgotten that like a lot of what I wanted to do was like help as well, not just entertain, but also help. And so this is going to be a help video. I hope it helps you, and it has to do with sunscreen. We just got off the Norwegian Escape, this great big cruise ship. Was there with my mom, Marcus, and mom's friend Tim. And one of the things we talked about, even though we were all sad that we were getting off the ship, Mom and Tim are going back to Minnesota where there's still snow on the ground and it's cold, but they were saying, at least it'll be nice to not have to slather up with sunscreen every day. And I thought, yeah, you know, that is kind of an annoying thing about doing a sun or a beach vacation is the whole sunscreen issue. And what I hate is that it just always feels like I've got like a layer of slime or a layer of sticky fat on my face. And so I thought I will do a sunscreen comparison. And that's what I'm going to do today. These are the sunscreens we are going to compare, and I've got them set up here in order from least to most expensive. This is Coppertone Defend and Care Face, oil-free, won't clog pores. This is the Panama Jack Sport. It also has a dry touch formula, which is what made it interesting to me. This is Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Dry Touch Sunscreen, lightweight, clean feel. This is what we've been using, so I know what that's like. And then this is the most expensive one, the La Roche-Posay Antelios Clear Skin Oil Free. So I'm going to start today with these two. These two I have not tried yet. Well, the only one I have tried is this one. So I'm going to put half of my face with this Coppertone Defend and Care and half with the Panama Jack and compare those today. And later in the video, so like tomorrow, I'll be doing these two. Alright, here we go. I hope you can see everything fine. I'm going to start with the Coppertone Defend and Care. This is a 50 and the Panama Jack is a 30. We bought this on the ship. Paid like $14 for it at Walgreens here in Miami. I think you can get it for like $9. This is also a relatively inexpensive one, but let's see. This is how it came to. This is the entire packaging. I like that it is in a squeezable tube because then when your fingers are all, you know, slimy, you can still get it out. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of it on my hand, like that much. I've never done a video like this before. I feel like it's a, you know, like a makeup tutorial. All right. It looks very creamy. It's, you know, well, this part of my hand is not hairy at all. And this part of my hand is not hairy at all because it all got ripped off at Efteling when they taped the camera to my hand. Let's see. I'm a hairy guy. I've got German, Polish, and Irish ancestors, so I'm a hairy guy. And that's one thing that's a problem I always have with creamy, any kind of creamy lotion, is that it's hard to get it in through the hair, and that's why I prefer these spray-on things. But I don't like to put those spray-on things on my face because there's so much alcohol in them usually. All right, well, this is spreading out pretty well. It smells kind of, I would say it has a very neutral smell. It's definitely not a perfumey smell. And you know, it doesn't smell like coconut or cherries or something like that. And it also doesn't smell medicine-y. But the most important thing is, what does it feel like on my face? So I'm gonna do half of my face with this, and this is 50. The other one is 30, so maybe I'll get an uneven tan, although I already am pretty tan. All right, we don't have a mirror. Got the camera set up in the window frame. Hold on, I gotta look in the mirror to see if I'm getting this all on. All right, so far I'm really liking this. I'm gonna put some more of it on my ear and on my neck. It does feel very light. The first impression is not that it's like greasy and oily. I'm sure I'm looking really not very elegant doing this. I guess the true test is how does it feel after, after it's been on for a little bit. So I'll have to give you guys an update after that. Anyways, the copper tone, Defend and Care. It's on this side of my face now. What do you think? Does that look like extremely more shiny than the other side on my hand? It doesn't. I mean, it's been on for like a minute now, and my skin, it just feels soft. It doesn't really feel greasy at all, so that's nice. All right, let's try, you know what, I better wash my hands before I do this to get a really clear comparison. Hold on. All right, moving on to Panama Jack Sport. This says is water resistant to 80 minutes, dry touch formula. I'm assuming this is going to be a little bit more greasy. We paid $10.99 for this at the surf shop here on Collins. Wait, how did I do this? All right, I'm going to put a little bit of it on my hand. This looks really creamy. It looks like whipped. Whoopsh. Oh, geez, yeah. So this is a lot. Like, I put that much of the copper tone on my hand too, and it wasn't, like, it didn't become this much. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna put this on my face right now. How does it smell? This has sort of a perfume smell. It smells kind of sweet. It's so greasy. I mean, not greasy, but maybe greasy. Like you saw that wasn't really a lot, and there's still a lot of it here on my hand. But I feel like, well, a little bit goes a long way. That's a good way to say it. So the Panama Jack Sport, a little bit goes a long way, and that's good because this is a small container. Let me go to the mirror and make sure I'm getting it rubbed in. Yeah, like I said, it definitely feels a little bit greasier, and it has much more of a smell. I wouldn't say it's an uncomfortable smell, like if you're somebody who's really sensitive to fragrances or something. I don't think you'll have a problem with this. Yeah, it doesn't smell like coconuts or rum. I'm trying to think of other things that sunscreen sometimes smell like. Okay, so what do you think? This side is copper tone. This side is Panama Jack. This side's been on for a couple minutes. This side is fresh. And I don't know if it's just because the Panama Jack side is fresh, but this side definitely feels greasier. It feels like wetter. It feels slimier. But maybe it just needs to dry in. So I'm going to wear these for a while. Oh, but you know what? Let's see what the Panama Jack is like when I try to rub it into my hairy arm. All right, so there's the product. And yeah, this is the problem that you have when you're a hairy person. That it gets all, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It just gets like all trapped in the hairs, and then it never really gets rubbed into the skin, and it gets, it doesn't spread out evenly. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be for your face anyways. It's not, like I said, I prefer to use the sprays when I'm putting it on the rest of my body, just because that's much easier to get everywhere and to get underneath all the hairs. We'll do the copper tone on the other arm. I would say although the copper tone seems to be a little bit less willing go under the hair. Well, that's interesting. Can you see that? Here's the difference. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the Panama Jack went under the hair really well. The copper tone is being difficult. And it's weird because now here on my arm, it feels greasier than it did on my face, because this is the one that felt much less greasy on my face, but this is the one that, yeah, that was absorbed quicker despite all the hair. So for the face, as far as these two go, I'm choosing this one. But for the body, I'm choosing this one. All right, I just went over to the mirror to make sure that I got it all really spread in, and I noticed I had a little piece of food left stuck on my lip from lunch. We went to the yard house, so sorry about that. A day has gone past now since I started this comparison, and let me say a few things about these two brands. I guess there's a couple more things I can say. First of all, later in the day, I didn't feel like either one of these felt more or less greasy than the other. So after a while on my skin, they both felt the same. And actually my skin felt really soft. I don't know if that had necessarily to do with this or just that I had just shaved that morning. I don't know. One thing I did notice, however, is that this brand, we were walking through like a cosmetic store and they had one of those magnifying mirrors, and I looked at my face really closely and I noticed that this brand was a little bit more like flaky, you know what I mean? Like when I looked in my eyebrow, I could see, you know, like remnants of cream, you know, like, I don't know, it just looked kind of, it didn't look very nice. And of course I had to look with that sort of magnifying mirror to notice it. I wouldn't have noticed it in just a normal mirror, but I just thought I'd mention that. So today we are going to try, well, hold on, I gotta go get it. Today's comparison is between Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Dry Touch and La Roche-Posay Clear Skin. I don't have to try this because we've been using this already. It's almost empty. And when we bought this, I thought this was going to be exactly what I was looking for, but unfortunately it's not. So here is a little blurb of it. This is less creamy than the other two. The other two were very, like, almost whipped, and this is very, you know, like liquidy. It goes on pretty easily, but I just know that, first of all, I don't like the smell of it. It has a very sort of medicine-y smell, and I'm not a fan of that. And I feel like it stays feeling greasy for so long. So I already am pretty sure I wouldn't buy this again. But let's put it on the face and the ears and everything, just for the comparison. It's very fluid, like I said, so it's easy to spread around. All right, I just went over to the mirror to make sure that I got it all really spread in, and I noticed I had a little piece of food left stuck on my lip from lunch. We went to the yard house, so sorry about that. Also, you know, Marcus has been looking at me for the past hour since lunch. You think he could have told me that it was there, but he didn't. All right, so here is the fourth brand that we're going to try, and this was by far the most expensive. This cost $20 for this little tube. And yeah, it also says it's a dry touch sunscreen. So put some on this hand. This is creamier, so you can see it like sits up in like a turd. I don't know how else to describe it. Whereas the Neutrogena is more of a, you know, like a cream or like a fluid. So spread it out. It's very thick and creamy. To quote Jeffree Star, "Ooh, she's thick!" But it feels very smooth. Let's do the hairy arms test. Ew. No, well, not doing very good with the hairy arms test. You see that? Smell? Oh, it almost smells like nothing. Alright, so definitely points on the smell category because it doesn't smell like medicine, it doesn't smell like coconuts, it doesn't smell really like anything. Let's see what it feels like on the face. It's really hard to do this without a mirror, by the way. My first impression is it feels really greasy. It feels like I'm rubbing like Vaseline on my face, which is of course not a desired effect. I also feel like I need to use a considerable amount of it to get the proper smearage, the proper coverage. And when you consider that this tiny thing is 20, so this is definitely something that you want to buy just to put on your face, not to put on the rest of your body, because you're going to need one of these probably for your entire body. Let me go over to the mirror and make sure I get this really good, get it all creamed on well. Okay, both sides are rubbed in, are applied well. I would have to say, I don't know, they both feel pretty similar. I can't make a decision, or I can't make a differentiation which one I would say felt like greasier or less greasy. But now that they've been on for like a minute, I don't know, they both feel very light, so that's a good thing. And now the test is to just leave it on for a while and see how it feels after being out in the sun, after sweating a little bit. Does it still feel like I have a layer of cream, a layer of grease on my face, or does it feel just like normal everyday sweat? So I'll let you know in a little bit. In the end, my final opinion is that the best one was definitely the La Roche, and of course it's the most expensive, but at least you get a good product for that kind of money. And by far, my least favorite was the Neutrogena. And it surprises me because I feel like Neutrogena, they do make good products. They have a good reputation, but this sunscreen is just not something I want to rub on my face. There's only one more video coming from this series in Miami, and it's going to be a tour of the Shore Club Hotel. So stick around next week for that. Please subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I will see you coming up on Sunday for Sunday Sofa Time. Bye-bye.